Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where it happened once again. Takeover outshined WrestleMania. It's lost the Midcard. Welcome to the special recap of the entire weekend. Unfortunately for me, Supercard of Honor, for some odd reason, is not on demand yet on Honor Club. So I couldn't watch it yet. I had to watch it live, which it happened at the same time as Takeover. So I will go over the results, but I did not get to see any of it. But there's still plenty to talk about. An amazing Hall of Fame ceremony with many great moments. And then unbelievable Takeover. A great WrestleMania that probably should have ended with the third to last match, the true main event. We'll get into all of that, but first, thanks to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. What you got to do is search for Lost in the Midcard. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know every time a new episode comes your way, every Thursday, also every Monday after a WWE pay-per-view. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube. Links to all that are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard, and also on our Twitter at LITMC Podcast. All you got to do is go to the pinned posts on those to get our subscription links. And also follow us on Twitter at LITMC Podcast as we share a lot of the great tweets within the wrestling world. So make sure you check us out there. I am your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on the Twitter at JBHuskers. And for the second straight show in a row, I am rolling solo. Our usual backup co-hosts are either in New Orleans or we're out of town for WrestleMania. So, and unfortunately, Matt's still under the weather. Hopefully, Matt gets well soon so he can join us on Thursday's show. Get his thoughts on Takeover and Mania, even a little bit of the Hall of Fame, and then also talk about the shows after Mania, which with Raw tonight and SmackDown on tomorrow, obviously are going to be huge shows. Usually full of debuts, surprises, returns, all of that. So there will be a lot to talk about on Thursday's show. Hopefully Matt gets well soon. We get him back soon for hopefully to talk about that later this week. So here I am rolling solo once again. It was a wrestling-filled weekend. The only thing that I didn't get in, like I said, was Supercard. I am baffled. I mean, I'm paying $120 for Honor Club. I should be able to watch Supercard of Honor that night after it happened. It's still not even there on Monday, which is baffling to me. So that definitely is a bummer. I mean, I'm paying all the money to be a member for a year, and you know, it's still not up. So again, I'm not sure. You know, they're working through the growing pains, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you're giving you your money. We should be able to have what we're paying for, and the fact that wasn't able to see Supercard, very disappointing. Speaking of disappointing, I know Matt DM'd me on Twitter just before WrestleMania kicked off, and he said he was pretty disappointed with it. Not sure why. I didn't get much detail on that, but going over the results though, a big shock. In the first ever Woman of Honor champion, Sumi Saki defeated Kelly Klein. I was amazed when she beat Tenille Dashwood, and so a true surprise that she came through and defeated Kelly Klein in the finals to win that. A couple of matches I predicted wrong. I was surprised that Punishment Martinez defeated Ishii. Chucky T defeated Jonathan Gresham. Those were both fairly short matches. Ibushi beat Hangman in about 15 minutes. I bet that was probably pretty decent. The six-man tag championships went about 24 minutes. I expected SoCal Uncensored to retain, and they did. We expected the Briscoes to retain. They did. That was a 20-minute match. Silas Young defeated Kenny King. I didn't expect Silas to get that title back, so they've been trading that title back and forth. And then the final two matches between Cody and Omega, and then Dalton Castle and Scroll, both went over half an hour. Cody and Omega went 37 minutes, with Cody defeating Omega. And then Castle defeated Scroll to retain the championship, which was also a surprise. But again, I did not watch it, so hopefully between now and Thursday's show, it'll be up on Honor Club. I mean, hello, I paid for it. Fucking give it to me, man. You know, I paid for it, so we'll see. If not, we'll get Matt's thoughts. If he's able to join us for Thursday's show, we'll get Matt's thoughts as to why he didn't like Supercard of Honor, and we'll go from there. Lots to talk about, though. First off, I'll tell you one thing I did get to watch was Impact Wrestling and Lucha Underground had a Friday night, had an event on Twitch. And I must say, I didn't watch it live because I watched the Hall of Fame, but I did catch it on Saturday morning. And I must say, this was a very exciting event. I was I was excited when I ran down the card. I was excited, but I was not expecting how good this would be this good. And so I was really happy with the way this went. Hopefully, this means a further conglomeration of Lucha and Impact going forward. It almost seems that it's going to be that way, because I think Pentagon and Phoenix are going to be on the pay-per-view card here in a couple weeks. Alberto El Patron fired because he no-showed the main event for this, which was beyond baffling. Either he's showing up on Raw tonight, or Alberto's just being Alberto and doing stupid shit. We don't know for sure yet at the time that I'm recording this, but so it was supposed to be Alberto El Patron and Pentagon Dark tagging up to go against Austin Aries and Phoenix, and then with the no-show, turned into a triple threat match, which was still fucking great. So in the end, it was great, and then it came out yesterday that Alberto was fired from Impact Wrestling. So what does that mean for the main event? I believe it's Redemption. We were originally going to have Phoenix and Pentagon take on each other. I would have Phoenix, or I would have Pentagon take on Aries. Pentagon won the main event of Impact versus Lucha. I would put him in against Aries. But another option you have is Eli Drake. He beat Moose. He now holds both the tag and the world title cases. You could have Eli cash in, have a rematch between Eli and Austin Aries, which they had a good match for their title match. There's a lot of things that you can do, but definitely some weird shit there with Alberto El Patron. Excuse me as I take a drink there. We kick off things on Impact versus Lucha. 6-way match to start it off. 3 guys from Impact, 3 guys from Lucha. Moose, Matt Sydal, and Caleb Conley, and Jack Evans, Matanza, Cueto, and Chavo Guerrero Jr. Took each other on in the 6-way. A pretty cool start to the match. The big guys cleaned house with the little guys, and then Matanza and Moose faced each other off. I kind of marked out at that. That was a lot of fun. Jack Evans sporting a new look. He has completely shaved the locks, so he is sporting a new look for since we last saw him on Lucha Underground. But in the end, the monster Matanza hit the Wrath of the Gods onto Caleb Conley and got the victory there. The 1-2-3. After the match was some big news. Chavo Guerrero got on the mic and announced that Lucha Underground Season 4 is coming. And it's not, it's just around the corner, kids. 2 months away. June 13th on the El Rey Network will be Lucha Underground Season 4. I'm very looking forward to seeing what happens here. Of course, at the end of Season 3, was left with Dario Cueto getting shot, and supposedly or apparently calling his father to try to get him to try to save him after the FBI agent had shot him when they were unable to retrieve that special gauntlet after what was an amazing fourth part of Ultima Lucha. So it's just 2 months away, so that's good. I can't wait to see. Once we get some more details on that, I'll let you know. Knockouts Championship match was next between Ali and Taya Valkyrie, and this was a damn good match. These girls work really well together. This was a lot of fun to watch, and but no surprise, I didn't expect the Knockouts Championship to change hands here on this Twitch show. Ali defeats Taya Valkyrie, but it was a very good match. I enjoyed it a lot. OVE took on Teddy Hart and Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner getting old there. I don't know why they had him wrestle here, but he didn't really wrestle much. He got the hot tag. Teddy Hart, though, looking pretty damn good with some sweet moves before getting the hot tag to Steiner, and Steiner ending it with the Steiner recliner. But props to Teddy Hart there. He did a great job in that match. The next match was probably, it might have been the match of the night. I don't know. It's pretty close between this and the main event, but the match of the night could have been this trios match between Desmond Xavier, Andrew Everett, and DJZ. Welcome back, DJZ, from injury. And they took on Lucha Underground's Drago, King Cuerno, and Aerostar. This six-man tag match was just freaking amazing. It was everything. It got the crowd. I think it got the first "This is awesome" chant of the evening, and it was well deserved. These guys worked their asses off. It was a phenomenal match, and I implore you to go to Impact Wrestling's Twitch channel and pull this match up. I implore you to watch the whole event because it was worth it. But that six-man tag was fucking awesome. In the end, Drago made Andrew Everett tap out, so your Lucha Underground trios get the win there. After the match, all six guys showed respect and raised each other's hands. Very cool moment there. But yeah, that match just blew me away. Trevor Lee took on Famous B. Actually, Famous B said, no, I got a new client here. Marty the Moth Martinez was his new client. Marty, looking a little slimmer than when we saw him last on Lucha Underground Season 3. Looking a lot better shape, looking good, and I thought him and Trevor Lee had a pretty damn good match here. Trevor Lee gets the victory there. This tag match was fucking amazing. It was also for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. LAX, a team that did not win me over initially when I got back into Impact Wrestling, they definitely have won me over the past month. I'm enjoying watching Ortiz and Santana. They're amazing. And they took on a couple of my favorites from Lucha Underground, Killshot and the Mac, who also are a part of a trios team. And Killshot and the Mac work so well as a tag team. This was just another example of an amazing match between these guys. And some of the tag moves with Killshot and Mac are amazing. And you can catch them as a trios team. With Dante Fox, of course. For those that don't know, it's kind of Killshot's kind of got a military background, and the word was he left his best friend and partner Dante Fox left him for dead out in the Middle East, and he returned to the States. That started a feud up, but now they have gotten on the same page and going for the trios championships. But 2/3 of that team taking on LAX was amazing. Maybe this ain't the last we see of this feud. Maybe for the Impact Championship, if we do get a continued partnership with Lucha and Impact on television. Next up is my favorite. Everybody that listens to the podcast knows that Eli Drake is my favorite in Impact Wrestling. Yeah, he took on the Machine, Brian Cage, and this was a lot more competitive than I thought it would be. It showed to me that my boy Eli Drake can work with the big men. And, of course, Cage is out of this world. We all know that. But in the end, Cage did defeat Drake. But it was not a squash match, though. So it was very competitive. Some great power moves by Eli on the big guy, too. So I was pleasantly surprised on that. Your co-main event, a feud that I've been loving. I know Matt's been hating it, but I have been loving this feud between Eddie Edwards and Jeremiah Crane, who is, of course, Sami Callihan. But it's Impact versus Lucha, so we get the Jeremiah Crane version of Eddie Edwards and against Eddie Edwards. And Jesus, this was brutal. This was insane. The brutality. I mean, like, the suplex on the apron by Eddie Edwards onto Jeremiah Crane was insane. The chair shots, the everything. Eddie throwing chairs at Jeremiah's face. It was all of that and more. And in the end, Edwards was basically knocked out, unconscious from it with a chair shot to the head, knocked unconscious. So Crane goes and gets a baseball bat. And he's just gonna basically end Eddie Edwards. He's gonna kill him right there. And before Crane could get a shot off on an unconscious Edwards, Don Callis comes out and throws in the towel, basically saving his investment. And of course, Callis, a part of management, so to speak, with Impact right now, so he throws in the towel to save Eddie Edwards. And Moose came in and chased him off to prevent any other harm as well. So Jeremiah Crane gets the win, even though Eddie Edwards did not say I quit, which means I think the feud continues, which is fine. It's probably the best feud going on in Impact Wrestling right now. So I'm all for it continuing. Triple threat match, non-title, Austin Aries, Phoenix, and Pentagon Dark, and of course Noah El Patron here. These guys just told a great story. Obviously, Pentagon and Phoenix are brothers, and from the same mother, by the way. And they were beating the shit out of each other. They were beating the shit out of Aries. The moves were just amazing. And in the end, Aries was on the floor, and Pentagon hits Phoenix with a cradle finishing move and then gets the pin. So Pentagon Dark gets the win. He pinned Phoenix, so he didn't pin Austin Aries. But I'm wondering if this maybe turns into Pentagon and Austin Aries at Redemption, since now that they have fired Alberto El Patron. It'll be interesting to see how that happens right now. But Impact versus Lucha, amazing. Go to Twitch, find the Impact channel on Twitch, and go watch that. It was a great wrestling event. And also, I'll put over the commentators. Josh Matthews and Matt Stryker did a great job together as a team, too. So, job well done by everybody involved on Impact versus Lucha. The WWE Hall of Fame took place on Friday night as well. And as usual, a lot of great emotional moments, a lot of funny moments. The Dudleys probably, they kicked it off and probably had the most entertaining moment of entertaining speech of the whole thing. Edge and Christian inducting them. Christian jokingly trying to induct himself into the Hall of Fame. That was kind of funny. The crowd kind of chanting "You deserve it," kind of basically. Christian will be in the Hall of Fame eventually, so don't worry about that. They put on the glasses, and Edge told Christian to get the Dudleys. And another great moment before the Dudleys came out. They talked about the APA and how they basically ran through them, and that led to Ron Simmons grabbing the mic and looking around, and then damn, which was also hilarious. It was a great speech by the Dudleys. Bubba making fun of Devon for being entertaining. Finally, after all these years, he's entertaining on the last night that they're together. I thought that was funny. Really cool to see Velvet Sky in the crowd, and they showed her, and Bubba mentioned her, talked about her, and thanked her for all of her support. He also brought memorial cards of his parents so they could be there with him when they inducted. That was truly special. And the Dudleys also gave props to specifically to Mae Young, Tommy Dreamer, and Spike Dudley for everything they did to help put the Dudleys over or help the Dudleys in memorable moments. Obviously, Mae Young, 80 years young, Bubba Ray puts her through a table on off the stage in one of the most memorable Raw moments in history. Tommy Dreamer for everything he did to help them get on their feet while they were getting started in ECW, and Spike Dudley basically for getting the shit beat out of him for so long by the Dudleys. They thanked all those guys for help along the way. And then another great moment, Bubba and Devon insisted Matt and Jeff Hardy come up on stage and bring Edge and Christian back from the back, and all six men, which they said they believe that was the first time they had been all together in the same room since the second TLC match in 2001, and they all got on stage together for kind of a TLC reunion with their hands raised. It was a really, really cool moment. And then Bubba started talking after Matt and Jeff and Edge and Christian left the stage. Bubba started talking again, going into his speech. And the Dudleys' music played. And they were cutting him off. And you don't get cut off at the Hall of Fame. But Bubba looked legit pissed, so I was wondering what was going on. Then a stagehand comes out, and I'm like, I see where we're going with this. And the stagehand gets grabbed by the throat by Bubba, and Bubba pushes Devon and says, Devon, get the tables. And they put the stagehand through a table, which was a great fitting end to inducting the Dudleys into the Hall of Fame. I think it was probably one of my highlights of the night, outside of the Warrior Award, which was probably the highlight of the night. We'll get to that in a minute. Hillbilly Jim was up next. He said he wasn't going to talk long, but he talked about 30 minutes. But hey, people were bitching. People were probably saying, or people were saying how bored they were. Hey, this ain't about you. This is their moment. So these guys can talk however long they want about what they want. They earned it, and this is not about you. So I don't care if you're bored, because they don't care if you're bored. They're caring about being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and so. Hillbilly Jim with some great stories. Jimmy Hart looks the same as he did in the 80s. That dude does not age. Hillbilly Jim told the great story about his first royalty check from the action figures. $87,000. That was pretty cool. Jim talked about all the guys that helped him into the business. So it wasn't as entertaining or as funny as the Dudleys, but it was still cool. I always love hearing these guys tell their stories. And again, people bitching, they just need to shut the fuck up because it's not about them. Everybody brought up Hulk Hogan too, which was kind of cool. Made me think Hogan was showing up at Mania, but that did not happen, obviously. Then they talked about the legacy inductees, including Lord Halford Hayes, who we all know is a great commentator from the WWE in the 80s and 90s. Sean Stasiak, the father of Sean Stasiak. Boris Malenko, the father of Dean Malenko. And many others, including Doris Singh. El Santo, who is regarded as one of the most highly regarded luchadors. Cora Combs, a great female wrestler of the 40s. Jim Landos, who wrestled in Greece in front of 100,000 people. Rufus R. Jones, and Sputnik Monroe. Ivory, the only woman in this class, she was inducted by her traveling partner and one of her best friends, Molly Holly. Molly, with a great introduction. I mean, you could tell just by looking at her, she was so happy to be there to induct her friend Ivory. And a great little touch was that they brought Lillian Garcia out to properly introduct Ivory to come out, because all three of those ladies traveled together back in the day and are very, very, very close. And my God, for 57 years old, Ivory looks freaking amazing. Holy cow! I thought she was going to be in the women's battle royal. No legends were in that, but she looked amazing, and it was great. And Ivory talking about all the people that meant to her the most, including people like Gail Kim, and also having a little fun at Ric Flair's expense about marriage. Don't know why, but maybe there's probably a little something backstage behind that little inside joke. She finally got engaged after she was being inducted to the Hall of Fame. So she might as well talk about how this induction is going to be her wedding ceremony or a wedding party. So she kind of went to a wedding theme there before the end. Next up, Triple H inducted the celebrity wing, Kid Rock. Kid Rock rocking that great mustache. That mustache was fantastic. I enjoyed Kid Rock's speech. I liked it a lot. One of the things I respected about Kid Rock's speech is he put over how he acknowledges how hard the lifestyles are for the wrestlers, the sacrifices they make having to be away from home so much. I really enjoyed the speech from Kid Rock. Just as much I enjoyed the speech of Double J Jeff Jarrett. Road Dogg didn't talk too much. He knew that things were going long, so he made it short and sweet. But Double J getting choked up, the WWE Universe welcoming him with open arms was great, chanting "You deserve it." He talked about his special relationships with Road Dogg and also with Owen Hart. It was hard to keep back the tears on those speeches, but it was very, very touching, and it was cool to see his father Jerry Jarrett out there as well with his wife Karen and the kids, and his grandmother. She is the one that got the Jarretts in the wrestling business to start off with, and it was pretty cool. Jarrett put over Shawn Michaels as the Michael Jordan, the Wayne Gretzky, the Tom Brady of professional wrestling. Put him over as just the guy. He put over The Miz as doing a great job with the Intercontinental Championship, and The Miz with just a shock and awe on his face, how honored he was that Jarrett put him over like that. That was really cool. They talked about Jeff talked about some ribs that him and Owen used to do back in the day, including a rib with Edge and Christian when they were just getting started with the company, where he would talk about where Jarrett and Owen would be getting pummeled, in the old turnbuckle spot where they punch him and the crowd counts 1, 2, 3, and Edge and Christian would get to 9 and they would look at each other. So that was the thing that Owen and Jeff knew as part of their in-ring repertoire, was that at 9 they would look at each other before hitting the 10. So they decided to put clown noses on when they looked at each other and just made Edge and Christian bust out laughing in the middle of a match. That was a great rib that he talked about with him and Owen. And so then that prompted Edge and Christian to come out and return the red nose. That was great. And then Road Dogg came out and said, we're going to sing With My Baby Tonight. That was far from perfect, but it didn't need to be. It was because it was just all about fun. They weren't hitting the notes, but they did go out in the crowd and have some of the crowd sing along, including Heath Slater. And so the best part about that was when Heath Slater sang and Jarrett said, "Good thing you're a good professional wrestler because your kids would have gone hungry." That was pretty funny itself. Let me take a pause for the cause here for drinking some Gatorade. All right. Next up is the Warrior Award recipient, and this was the highlight of the night. J.J. Robinson was just absolutely hilarious and energetic and fun. Before that, Dana Warrior talked about how this was the full circle moment for her as Ultimate Warrior was inducted into the Hall of Fame prior to WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans, and of course passed away just a few days after that. So a tearful little speech there from Dana before introducing JJ. JJ coming out dancing. making a joke how he's not tall enough to reach the mic, so they've got him a little booster. But JJ was amazing. Told the universe to quit booing Roman Reigns because he's his friend, and talked about all the people he made friends with, including Randy Orton and Zack Ryder. And then he talks about how his least favorite wrestler is The Miz, and that was great how he ribbed The Miz. And then he ribbed John Cena for not having a match. So the kid was just was just hilarious, and also gave some important information about organ donation, because of course Jarrus has had 2 liver transplants that have saved his life, and so it's also a great message because he's been outspoken with organ donation as well. So that was the highlight of my night. The guy that I was looking most forward to hearing his speech was Mark Henry. The Big Show, with some great words for a good friend of his. And Mark Henry, he made us all cry. Talking about how his mom, as a 9-year-old, brought him to a wrestling event so he could see Andre the Giant for the first time. Mark talked about how he got knocked down by the other kids trying to rush to get to Andre, and how Andre picked him up. And it was great seeing the emotion from Mark Henry there. Then he talked about Owen Hart and asked for the camera to zoom directly into his face as he pleaded with Martha Hart, Owen's widow, to allow him to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. After all of that emotional speeches by Mark, we got a little fun as somebody came out and put a cape on, and he transformed into sexual chocolate. His music was playing. He hit on Stephanie McMahon, which was pretty hilarious. Before he then would hit on his own wife, so he doesn't get in trouble later. Henry's son was wearing a salmon-colored jacket just as much, just like what he wore 5 years ago when it looked like he was retiring, and made that awesome turn on John Cena. They also brought out the jacket for him to put on there too. So Henry's lost some weight since then, so the jacket looked very big on him. But all in all, it was amazing. He thanked the Nation of Domination. He also thanked Mae Young in China during his sexual chocolate days to help him get over. It was great. It was really fantastic. Paul Heyman introduced Goldberg next. Actually last. And Goldberg kept it short and sweet. And the unfortunate part was a lot of the people in attendance of the wrestlers, some people showed on Twitter pictures, a lot of empty seats showing. That was kind of a disrespect for Goldberg, which was interesting. Obviously, the live broadcast didn't show that, but a lot of pictures that went around on Twitter showing it, which was fairly odd. I don't get that, but Goldberg thanked everybody, Jim Ross and everybody in WCW that helped him along the way. Talked about his family, of course, his son and his wife, and finished it up with "Who's next?" And that was cool. And he put over DDP a lot as well. He was wearing a leather tux that was pretty pimp, but Goldberg kept it short and sweet, and ended it off with a great little ending there for you. So, Hall of Fame ceremony, as long as it may be, it's always entertaining to watch and really emotional. And I tell you what, when they brought the Hall of Famers out at the WrestleMania, man, that you could tell JJ stole the show because he got a huge pop. Next up is NXT Takeover. This happened on Saturday night, and oh my god, what a night. There was no lulls in this entire card. I thought this was going to close the show, but it opened the show. The North American Championship ladder match, the brand new sexy championship, high above the ring. EC3, Adam Cole, Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, Velveteen Dream, Ricochet. EC3 of the big pop. Of course, Adam Cole with a big pop. Velveteen Dream, though, had a huge pop. You can tell the people love them some Velveteen Dream. And, of course, Ricochet is Ricochet. So, of course, he got a gigantic pop as well. Crowd chanted, "This is awesome," before the match even started, because they knew it was going to be amazing, and it was fucking amazing. I mean, Ricochet didn't take much. He didn't waste much time before showing off what he could do in the match, for damn sure. It was just truly insane what they did. I mean, there was a moment where Ricochet was on the ladder, and I think Lars Sullivan was picking up the ladder, and so Ricochet did a shooting star press off of the ladder outside of the ring onto the other four guys. I mean, that was one of those insane spots. Velveteen Dream climbing to the top of the fucking ladder. Top of the ladder. This ain't no step ladder either. This is a big motherfucker. And drops an elbow off the top of the ladder. That was insane. It was truly just just an amazing ladder match. And it wasn't a spot fest. It was great wrestling too, and this was one of the better ladder matches I've ever seen. Just how everybody looked good. I thought this was going to be a coming out party for Lars Sullivan to showcase more that he could do. It wasn't quite the coming out party, but he looked fantastic. Killian Dane, he got his basically moment at War Games. And he has carried that momentum off to become an amazing wrestler who probably is going to debut on the main card tonight. And in the end, it was amazing. There were some brutal spots with ladders held horizontal between the ring and the announce tables, where Lars Sullivan picked up EC3 and did his finishing maneuver while Velveteen Dream was on the ladder, and the thing broke in half. Well, that was not to be outdone by Killian Dane picking up Adam Cole and broke through the ladder with Ricochet. It was insane. So all six guys are on the floor. Two broken ladders at ringside. The crowd is chanting "Fight Forever." And in the end, all six guys are climbing 3 ladders, and I'm like, oh shit, what's going to happen now? And in the end, only one guy stood tall and was able to climb the one of the 3 ladders to grab that North American Championship, and it was Adam Cole, baby. This match went about 31 minutes, and OMG. What a way to kick off WrestleMania weekend. I thought, there's no way anything can top this. Until later on in the night. But still, after it's all said and done, this was the second best match of WrestleMania weekend by far. Adam Cole, I predicted correctly to leave with the North American Championship, as I felt that the Undisputed Era were going to walk out with the gold. We'll find out if they finish that after that. Women are up next. Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon. And let me tell you something. After that 30-minute ladder match, it's going to be hard to follow that. It's going to be hard to keep the crowd even. You know, the crowd's going to be having a lull. Guess what? Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon worked their asses off and didn't give that crowd a break at all. The crowd was loud for these two ladies because these two ladies put it all out there. And it was cool to see Ember Moon kind of return the favor with that little spot where you step on the hand and the elbow or the arm is sticking out and you step on that tricep. She got a little bit of revenge there by doing that to Shayna Baszler. And Moon working on the arm of Baszler, much like Baszler did to her when she was punishing her in their first match and in the feud before that. Then at the end of the match, it was Baszler getting submission after submission and Ember Moon trying to break free. Baszler put on an armbar, Moon powerbombed out of it and got a close, a near fall. Moon goes for the Eclipse, but Baszler caught her and put her in the Coquina clutch. And Moon tried to fight it off, and she was stuck. She passed out, and Shayna Baszler won after 13 minutes. Very good. I loved the psychology of the match, working on the arm, kind of a flip flop in fortunes because Baszler's been working on Moon's arm in the previous feuds. I think this was the last NXT performance for Ember Moon. I think she's getting called up. I don't have any inklings on if it's Raw or SmackDown. I'm going to try to stay away from spoilers too, at least for Raw tonight. I'm going to try to stay away from spoilers so I don't. I want to be completely surprised when I tune in at 7 Central to see what happens. But props to the women. Props to Shayna Baszler for being the new women's champion. But props to the women for keeping the crowd after a match that was really hard to follow with the ladder match. The women came through great. Next up, Adam Cole doesn't get much of a rest because it's the NXT Tag Team Championships triple threat match for both the tag titles and the Dusty Cup. The Undisputed Era, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne, and the authors of Pain. And this one was a phenomenal tag team match, and one of my bold predictions came through. But first, Kyle O'Reilly, as the Undisputed Era came out, Kyle O'Reilly came out by himself, almost because they were checking with the doctors, and Kyle pleading with the doctors that he has to compete. And so O'Reilly came out by himself, and so there was a very minute moment where you thought O'Reilly had to go it alone. But eventually Adam Cole followed him with his ribs taped up. Props to Adam Cole for doing a 30-minute ladder match, taking a one-match break, and then coming back. Obviously, O'Reilly did most of the work here, and let me tell you something. Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne, let's have them two have a match sometime soon, because every time they were in the ring, it was fucking magic. I loved it. But in the end, hello, Pete Dunne hits the better end. The ref gets the 2, and Strong attacks Dunne, and then hits the suplex onto his knees, and then puts a fallen Kyle O'Reilly on top of Dunne to give the Undisputed Era the win and the Dusty Cup. And the looks on Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly's faces said it all. They did not expect Roddy Strong to join the Undisputed Era. I did, because I called it. It just makes sense. It just made sense. I didn't think it would play out exactly how I predicted it exactly. I said he's going to turn on Dunne and cost him the win and help the Undisputed Era win in the process, and he did exactly all of that. Roddy as a heel is great. Go back to his time in Ring of Honor as a heel, the tail end of his time there with Jay Lethal. The 60-minute match they put on was amazing. And Roddy can play the heel really good. He really can play the babyface really good too. But I think this is a defining moment where I think it could maybe lead to Roddy competing for the NXT Championship against Aleister Black. But you still got Almas rematch, unless Almas gets called up, because I know the WWE is very high on Zelina Vega as his manager. Almas is great in the ring. So if he still has that mouthpiece, he may get moved up. You never know. And you got Drew McIntyre also, who was on the kickoff show. And let me go back and say a lot of people didn't like him. Some people didn't like him. I saw a lot of people that did love him. Pat McAfee did a fantastic job on the pre-show. He cracked me up on multiple occasions. So well done, Pat McAfee, the old punter from the Indianapolis Colts. Well done. But at the end, O'Reilly and Cole pose with Strong doing the Undisputed Era pose. And hey, there's Bobby Fish on crutches and a knee brace. Good to see at least. It was great to see Bobby Fish out there in the being able to get on the stage with those guys and enjoy the moment and pose next to the Dusty Cup. Adam Cole holding 2 belts. Undisputed Era. Now they just need a woman to hold all the gold. But that was a great moment seeing Bobby Fish being able to join those guys. They showed a shot of Nita Strauss, who is Alice Cooper's tremendous guitarist, at ringside. Kind of random, but we'll find out later why she was shown at ringside there, because she played part in an amazing entrance for Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania. Next up is Andrade Cien Almas and Aleister Black. I thought this could be a ding-ding Black Mass done 1 minute match. I'm glad it wasn't. A, it would have been a disservice to Almas, but B, I thought it was just going to put over Aleister Black as this unstoppable force who could probably hold the title for the next year. It would not surprise me. Almas and Black put on a hell of a show. And the feud got ignited when Almas was beating the shit out of him in the parking lot and brought him into the arena. And that just added fuel to the fire from when the bell rang, and these guys just both went at it. And Almas has been consistently performing at these takeover matches. I know Matt disagrees, but he did well against Drew McIntyre. His Johnny Gargano match was just spectacular. And then, of course, Aleister Black here. Amazing. And what happened was Zelina Vega, early on, she hit a Hurricane Rana onto Black on the outside. But Zelina Vega went to the well one too many times. She went for a cross-body. Black ducked, and Almas caught her. And while Almas had Vega in his arms, Black hit the Black Mass and knocked Almas the fuck out. And the 1, 2, 3 in a tremendous 18-minute NXT Championship match. Your new NXT champion, Aleister Black. I thought it was just surreal seeing Black in the ring with that championship belt. And you could tell the look on his face. Black was elated as well. It was truly an honor to see such a great wrestler finally reach this kind of pinnacle. Of course, we all know him as Tommy in the Independents. Aleister Black has been that man with that just has it. It has it all together, and the crowd loves him, and it was just a great moment to see him holding up the title. And Mauro Ranallo notes that Black is the 13th NXT champion in history. Lucky 13. Oh, take a deep breath. Let me take a swig of Gatorade. Because what came next was just simply amazing. Unsanctioned match between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. If Gargano loses, he's gone from NXT forever. Gargano wins, he gets his NXT job back. This was amazing. It's hard to put it in words how much emotion the storytelling was here. I was to the point where I even said on Twitter, I go, towards the end of the match, I go, if Ciampa wins this, I'm going to be physically ill. That's how emotionally invested I got into this match. I don't know if I've ever been that emotionally invested in a pro wrestling match ever, like I was for Gargano and Ciampa. It was just, it is so hard to describe. It is clear that Tommaso Ciampa is the top heel in NXT. There were at least 3 times the NXT universe was chanting at Ciampa with the words fuck. Either fuck you, Ciampa, or fuck him up, Johnny, fuck him up. And then again, a second fuck you, Ciampa. Ciampa is turned into such a great heel. He did kind of the Dolph Ziggler entrance, no music, which I was like, wait, let's hear what Ciampa's new music is. He doesn't have any. He doesn't need any. He just comes out and the crowd boos. The boos of the crowd are Ciampa's entrance music. This was so crazy. I mean, there was a point where Ronaldo called Ciampa a sadistic son of a bitch. That's like Jim Ross levels of intensity right there. And props to Mauro and Percy and Nigel for narrating, doing such a great job narrating the journey of this match. And the match went 37 minutes, and the tail end of it, Ciampa took off his wrist tape and started choking Gargano with it. That's what prompted the sadistic son of a bitch comment from Mauro. Ciampa being a dick. It was obviously a plant, but there was a guy on crutches near the front row, and Ciampa took his crutches while security kind of helped the poor man back to his seat. So Ciampa took that crutch and started hitting Gargano with it. Gargano comes back from that attack with a super kick and lawn darts Ciampa into the middle turnbuckle. And a couple more super kicks. Got a near fall there. I thought that was it. I thought that was the end of it. And Ciampa kicked out at the very last minute. Ciampa hit a powerbomb off of the top rope onto his knees. So it was one of those double knee power bombs, but it was off the fucking top rope. I thought that was it. Another near fall. Ciampa takes off his knee brace and tried to hit Gargano with it. And Gargano ducked it and nailed Ciampa's exposed knee. Gargano then, as Ciampa's down after he worked on that exposed knee, broke the crutch that was in the ring in half and was going to hit Ciampa with it, but he stopped. And he threw down the crutch, and Ciampa looked like he was in tears. And Gargano looked like he was in tears. And it looked like Gargano was once again going to let his emotions cost him. And we all knew that Ciampa was going to take advantage of it. Ciampa grabbed the knee brace to try to hit it, but Gargano was playing possum and put on the Gargano escape, grabbed the fucking knee brace and wrenched Ciampa's neck and face back with it while he had it in the Gargano escape. Kind of like an STF. He kind of transitioned into an STF with that. Holy cow, that was a moment. And finally, Ciampa taps out after 37 minutes. And like I said, I after the match, I mean, it was such an amazing match, such an emotional moment. Candice LeRae ran to the ring and hugs Johnny to send us off on a high note. And I think for like 5 minutes, as the network feed flipped back over and showed the kickoff show again before a replay of Takeover. And I think I just stared blankly at the TV for 5 minutes, not just in awe, processing what I just saw between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, because they told an amazing story, an emotional story, a physical story full of hatred in nearly 40 minutes, and I don't know if this is going to get topped for Match of the Year. It was so funny. I was like, how's the ladder match going to get topped? And Gargano and Ciampa, you almost could go as far as to say they blew that out of the water, and that ladder match was the second best thing. Nothing in WrestleMania touched the ladder match either. So you could say, easily say that those were the two best things of the weekend. Were ladder match and Ciampa and Gargano. So where do we go from here on NXT? I briefly mentioned the NXT Championship. There's a slight chance that Almas could get called up. Otherwise, maybe he goes after Black on an NXT television. You got Drew McIntyre coming back from injury. Roddy Strong, now a member of the Undisputed Era. Do you make him the tag partner with Kyle O'Reilly, or do you push him into the NXT Championship match? I think that my money is going to be on he's going to be the replacement to tag with Kyle O'Reilly. You also got Chris Dijak that could join the group as well. I thought maybe that might happen as well during the tag match, but that didn't quite happen. But it's going to be real exciting to see what happens with the Undisputed Era going forward. I'm sure William Regal is not too pleased with Roddy Strong, because Roddy Strong pleaded with Regal to let him in the Dusty Cup, the Dusty Classic, when Mustache Mountain went down with an injury. I'm sure Regal ain't going to be happy with what Roddy did to join the guys that have been a pain in his ass for several months now. I would assume Kairi Sane's the next one up for Shayna Baszler. She'll probably face Lacey Evans in one of the early tapings next coming up. But I would expect Kairi Sane's the next up for that. For the tag champs, I don't know. It's interesting. I think Pete Dunne brings in his UK buddies and we're going to have Pete Dunne and Mustache Mountain band together and take on the Undisputed Era, which I think will be an amazing feud. My hope is, we got a long ways away. My hope would be like that it would be maybe Undisputed Era and the UK guys as part of War Games, but that's still 7 months away, so that's way away. But maybe Mustache Mountain is the next one's up for the tag titles, maybe, if Bate is healthy enough, and Dunn's kind of the equalizer for Adam Cole. On the North American Championship side, you could very well put any of those guys that were in the ladder match as Adam Cole's first challenger. Pete Dunne, you never know. Maybe Pete Dunne challenges for it to continue that feud with the Undisputed Era. There's a lot of question marks. And then what do you do with Gargano and Ciampa after that? You got to wonder if you put Gargano in the championship picture too again. But there's a lot of question marks on where we go here from NXT, and that's a good thing. It's going to be so exciting to see where they go from here. WrestleMania in its 7-hour glory. The show started at 4 o'clock Central Time and ended at about 11 o'clock Central Time. Long ass day. The first match of the kickoff show was the men's Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Came down to the final 3: Corbin, Mojo Rawley, and Matt Hardy, which really made me confident in my prediction that Matt Hardy was going to win, and I was correct. Matt Hardy was able to win. Not really that exciting of an Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Maybe that's why I got moved into the kickoff show. It was just there. It was just fine. I was kind of half asleep, too, because I had a brutal headache. Woke up in time to watch the start of this match. But I am very happy and delighted and wonderful that Woken Matt Hardy won the Andre the Giant Men's Battle Royal. And after the match, he goes to the trophy and starts talking to it. It's so great. But the big thing was Bray Wyatt came back and helped Matt Hardy defeat Rawley and Corbin. A little confusion in the end when he eliminated Corbin. The bell didn't ring right away. I think the bell, the timekeeper might have thought Wyatt was in the match or something. But no, Wyatt was only there to help Hardy, and then they hugged in the middle of the ring afterwards and posed. Very interesting, very cool. I kind of liked what they did with Wyatt there. Of course, we last saw him in the Lake of Reincarnation. The crowd chanted, "Thank you, Wyatt," because hey, they're happy that Matt Hardy won this match and had a great WrestleMania moment. So, face turn for Bray Wyatt. We'll see what happens from there. Next up is the Cruiserweight Championship between Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali with some great effects in his entrance there. That was pretty cool. These guys had 13 minutes. I was expecting a little better from these guys. These guys worked their ass off. It was a good match, but I was expecting a little better. And I was a little wrong, too. I thought maybe they were priming Mustafa Ali to be the next Cruiserweight champion, but I'm happy to say that Cedric Alexander is now finally your Cruiserweight champion after a long road to get there. The man definitely deserves it. And after the match, a very emotional Drake Maverick came in and hugged Cedric Alexander and presented him the trophy. To see the emotion from Drake Maverick as he's handing the title over to him, that was cool to see. And Alexander and Ali hug, show of great respect at the end of the match there. Women's Battle Royal, 20 women are in the match. This was a decent one too. We called it. Well, we thought we called it. The final two were going to be Bayley and Sasha Banks, and they were going to battle for the end. That battle didn't really last that long, as Bayley tossed out Sasha, but Naomi was actually not eliminated. She was on the outside, but must have went through the middle rope. And she went in, hit the rear view, and dumped Bayley out to win the match. Again, this match was just okay, too. It was, I don't know. It just lacked intrigue. It was weird. The best part of the match was showing when Peyton Royce got eliminated and the crowd booed heavily, which shows they want themselves some iconic duo, hopefully on Raw or SmackDown tonight or tomorrow. I don't know why Billie Kay wasn't in the match. That was kind of weird, but it was good to see my girl Dakota Kai in there too, though. But the iconic duo is definitely over, and they'll probably get a warm welcome when they make their debut. Supposedly, probably tonight. I'm gonna guess tonight, or I'm gonna guess they're done with NXT, but who knows? The main card kicked off with a phenomenal, probably the match of the night. I'm gonna put it between this and Angle, Rousey, Triple H, and Steph, which I think maybe that was just more of a surprise of how great that match was. But the Intercontinental match, Miz, Balor, Rollins, Jesus. This is how you kick off WrestleMania. Superb action from all three guys. And they showed John Cena as a fan way too many times in this match, too. But in the end, Balor hit the coup de grace on Miz. Balor hit a sling blade and a drop kick on Miz into the turnbuckle. So then Balor hits the coup de grace on Miz, but Balor tried to get the 1-2-3, and Rollins hits his curb stomp on Finn Balor. And then he hits the curb stomp on Miz and gets the 1-2-3. Kind of a surprising winner, as Seth Rollins is your new Intercontinental champion and is now a member of the Grand Slam Club. So congrats to Seth Rollins for that. A surprise because Seth Rollins beat Finn Balor on Raw. I picked The Miz to win. I figured The Miz would not take a break just yet. Just kind of get that longest Intercontinental reign going. But hey, well, let's give him some time off now. He's got a new baby girl. So I don't mind that at all. Rollins pinned Miz, so maybe Balor has a claim and we continue this Rollins-Balor feud. I'm fine with that. That's cool. But Seth Rollins is your new Intercontinental champion and a Grand Slam winner. Next up is the SmackDown Women's Championship, and they did not disappoint either. Charlotte Flair and Asuka had a phenomenal match. This was just excellent, and I forgot to mention this. This ranks up there with match of the night as well. You don't see the women doing a Spanish fly much in pro wrestling. Charlotte did the Spanish fly on Asuka, and it looked fucking amazing. This was 13 minutes. It didn't go long, but it felt like a lot of things happened. And Asuka working on Charlotte's arm and shoulder really was kind of the catalyst of the match. Like when Charlotte went for the figure four and tried to bridge it into the figure eight, she could only put one hand on the ground because of how brutal it was, how brutally Asuka beat up on that shoulder and that arm. But she bridged into the figure 8, and Asuka taps out. Whoa! Another shocking moment that I called. I called it 2 weeks ago on the show. I stuck to my guns on the preview. I said Charlotte's going to break the streak, and she did. Because I looked at the roster. I looked at the roster. I go, the only one that is believable that can beat Asuka is Charlotte. It's going to happen at WrestleMania, because if Asuka beats Charlotte, what do you do then? Then there's nobody that can... Maybe you could put Charlotte and win the second one, but it's more effective to do it at WrestleMania. It's more effective to do it in their first match together. The streak takes a lot of pressure off of Asuka now. You can open the door on booking her. Don't book her to lose much anymore. No. I would say book a new streak that could land in another title shot. But to me, Asuka's streak ending here at WrestleMania makes her story to the title become that more important, that more special, that more interesting. A lot of people didn't like it, but I think long term it's better for Asuka, and it's going to make a better story when she does get to the top of the mountain, in my opinion. I thought Charlotte was going to kind of realize she can't put away Asuka with regular tactics, so I thought she was going to, maybe do some dirty things like her daddy did for so many decades, be the dirtiest player in the game. But no, Charlotte won it fair and square, even with a busted up arm, and it was great. It was a great match. The crowd was invested in it heavily. It was great. And then in the end, another great moment, Asuka got back on her feet and grabbed the microphone and said, she was really emotional too. She was almost crying, and said Charlotte was ready for Asuka. Congratulations, and gave Charlotte a big hug. Great moment there too. I loved that moment. And this could be the women's feud of the year, and maybe of the next 5 years, the best women's feud, if this continues on throughout whatever happens down the road. But an amazing moment for damn sure. Next up, the United States 4-way. And no special entrance from Rude, but a big pop and a big glorious singing along from the crowd in the Superdome. Not to be cut off by an amazing pop for Aiden English. Aiden English starting to rap a little more now with his singing, and doing a good job at that too. And the crowd loved them some Rusev Day. This match only went about 10 minutes. It was a good match. It was a fun match. It wasn't a oh my god match, but it was fun and solid, and I enjoyed it a lot. The guy that I would pick fourth to win this match won the match. Jinder Mahal, thanks to Sunil Singh. Sunil distracted Rusev, and then that allowed Rusev to walk into the Colossus, and Jinder Mahal pinned him for the 1-2-3 after a 10-minute match. I thought Rusev was going to win here. Finally, they were going to put him over at WrestleMania, give him a big moment, because he's been so over with this Rusev Day thing. My second guess was Rude, to continue the Rude and Orton feud. Now we get to have Jinder and Randy again. We just had that feud a year ago. So I'm baffled that they put the title on Jinder. But props to Jinder getting a WrestleMania moment. He's worked his ass off to get to where he is now from where he was before. I can't hate the guy for that. And like I said, I enjoyed the title run. It wasn't a spectacular one by any means in terms of stories or moments, but I enjoyed it that it was a lengthy run. His promos did get a little repetitive, but I'm happy for the guy. And so we'll see what happens with the U.S. title going forward from here. Surprisingly, fourth on the card was Triple H, Steph McMahon, Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey. And this match did not disappoint. I would be hard pressed. I'm almost going to put this as the match of the night. It's hard. I got to think about it. You got to throw Shinsuke and you got to throw Shinsuke and AJ in there too a little bit. but it was a little letdown. That was from what we were expecting. So I think it's down to the U.S. title, the SmackDown Women, or I'm sorry, the Intercontinental title, the U.S. Women, and then Rousey's debut for Match of the Night at WrestleMania. It was great. It was entertaining. It was enthralling. It kept you on the edge of your seat the entire time. And it's Stephanie pie-facing Ronda to start off the match and pulling Ronda's hair and then running away. And so it made you just wait for that moment even more when Ronda got her hands on Stephanie and the pop that the Superdome would have when she got her hands on Stephanie. It was glorious. I'll steal Bobby Roode's line there. And it was entertaining as all hell. I'm going to tell you what, man. When Rousey going toe-to-toe with Triple H, Drake Wirtz, who did a phenomenal job being the quote, more like the official for the unsanctioned match because there wasn't really a need of a referee. He wasn't even wearing stripes, which was kind of a cool touch on the NXT match. He got to referee this match, and Drake was trying to get in between Triple H and Rousey, like, you really want to do this, Trips? And Trips gently forced Drake into the corner and put himself between the turnbuckle and him, put Drake between the corner and himself as he charged at Rousey, and then Rousey just went on this flurry of attack, which was great. Props to Stephanie McMahon, though we're suspending disbelief here at the fact that she can counter an MMA's armbar attempt and all that. We'll go kayfabe here for a minute, kids. We'll go kayfabe here. Stephanie doing the blocking and the defense. Great job there. I thought Stephanie did a phenomenal. I mean, for the fact that she's not even a wrestler, like she's done a great job. Like when she fought Brie Bella, and the times that she's been in a match the last couple of years, she's done a great job. She did a great job here too. Rousey. If there was any doubters out there on Ronda Rousey, that was quieted with a big fuck you at WrestleMania, because Ronda Rousey came out. The crowd at WrestleMania is going to be, a big version of what you see at Raw tonight. It's going to be a lot of marks. They'll love Daniel Bryan. They'll hate Roman Reigns. There was some, wondering what was going to happen with big pop for Rousey when she came out. Big pop for Rousey when she got her hands on Stephanie. Big pop for Rousey on the move she made. So the big winner here is Ronda Rousey, because she showed without a shadow of a doubt she belongs in the WWE, so that's cool. In the end, Triple H tried to hit a pedigree on Ronda Rousey, but Rousey countered with a fucking Hurricane Rana and put an armbar on Triple H. That was so good. Stephanie saves her husband by putting a rear naked choke on Rousey, but then Rousey countered and put on the armbar. Angle put on the ankle lock on Triple H. Triple H counters it, sends Angle crashing into Ronda Rousey. Very cool moment, because you thought they were going to end with a double tap. It was kind of like the Revival when they were in that when DIY had them in the submissions and they held onto each other to keep them from tapping. It was kind of a similar moment there, but Triple H countering and sending Angle careening right into Ronda Rousey to break it up. Triple H and Steph took Rousey and Angle and ran them both into the steel posts, shoulder first, like you see a lot in the ring. Hunter tried to slap the pedigree on Angle, but Angle with the back body drop. Stephanie tried to pedigree Rousey. Rousey flipped through it, slapped on the armbar. Stephanie knew she was fucked there. She was pleading with Ronda, but no. Ronda got the arm free, slapped on the armbar, maybe broke her arm. Stephanie tapped out immediately. 21 minutes, great match. I think this is, I'm going to go right now and say it. This was my match of the night. Angle and Steph. Angle and Rousey against Steph and Trips. This was my match of the night. And it exceeded expectations, but in a vacuum, it was still a great match great action, great intrigue, great near falls. It had everything, and I was surprised by it. And another thing I was surprised by is Dana White in the crowd. How about that? Well, yeah, he's going to usher Lesnar maybe over to the UFC after this. SmackDown Tag Team Championships. New Day came out with midget pancake guys. That was interesting. Usos finally on the main card after so long. They're on the main card of WrestleMania. This match only went about 8 minutes, and it went like it should. The Bludgeon Brothers did a lot of dominating and set out powerbomb on Kofi to get the win. This was how it's supposed to play out. It wasn't a intriguing, oh my god, what's next match kind of. No, it was Bludgeon Brothers dominating the way they should, and I hope to God AOP shows up on Tuesday. That'd be great. But congrats to Harper and Rowan. Well deserved, because in a transformation to the Bludgeon Brothers, it was a brilliant transformation. They've done a great job with it, so they deserve to be champs. Great job there. Something I forgot to mention, odd timing too. I mean, Charlotte just broke Asuka's streak, and a referee tells John Cena something in his ear. He jumps the barricade and runs up the ramp while Charlotte's celebrating on the ramp. I'm like, couldn't you have waited a little bit? Not interrupt that celebration? That was a little piss poor timing. But anyways. So John Cena comes out in his wrestling gear because apparently the WWE official told him that Taker was here. And then another referee came out after Cena's getting ready for a match with Taker. Another referee came out, and apparently it was bad news because Cena was looking a little pissed off. The lights went out. We're all excited. Oh, is it Undertaker? No, it's Elias. Perfect. Putting him in that spot. And Elias singing along, playing some guitar down the ramp. And Cena then went back to his seat, but then Elias made fun of him. And so then he went and gave Elias the five-knuckle shuffle in the AA. Cena's music was playing while the fans chanted Undertaker. Cena looking a little despondent. But as he's walking up the ramp, the lights went out again. The lights came back on, and Taker's jacket and hat and gloves were in the ring, just like at the end of last year's WrestleMania. Lightning bolt zapped it. Lights went back on. The gear was gone. And then there was the gong. The dead man is here. Now, I wanted the American Badass, but hey, this was a cool moment. We got Undertaker John Cena. It went 3 minutes. John Cena got squashed. That was the story here, was that Cena was not prepared for the WrestleMania Undertaker. Like when Cena was going to hit the ropes and Taker sat up, Cena looked like he shit his pants. It was great. Taker hit the tombstone 3 minutes in and got the win. So John Cena getting squashed at WrestleMania is weird. Taker getting exercised in the demons, so to speak, because this was the same house that his streak got broken by Brock Lesnar. So very cool WrestleMania moment, right? That's one of those WrestleMania moments you talk about. That's cool. They showed the Hall of Fame inductees on stage. Big pop for JJ. You could tell the fans, he won the fans over with his Hall of Fame speech. And Goldberg last with his music, and Pyro did his little traditional entrance. And no Kid Rock though. He must have bailed, a bit left town. But next up is KO and Sami Zayn against Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan. If Zayn and Owens win, they're back on SmackDown Live. They remain fired if they lose. And the crowd went absolutely nuts when Daniel Bryan came out. Of course, we all cannot forget probably one of the best closing moments in WrestleMania history. Daniel Bryan doing the yes chant at WrestleMania 30 after winning the title. He beat Triple H in the first match before that to get into that triple threat match with Orton and Batista. This tag match was cool. It was great. Bryan does not look like he's missed a step at all. It was great to see him in the ring with Owens and Zayn. Before the match, after Shane and Daniel were introduced, KO's music plays, but they don't come down the ramp. They come out through the crowd and attack Shane and Daniel from behind. They do the apron powerbomb on Daniel to take him out for a while. So then basically it was Shane 2-on-1 against Owens and Zayn. And that was for about half the match before finally Bryan recovered from the apron bomb, got the hot tag, and holy shit, the offense was a flying from Daniel Bryan. I loved it. Daniel Bryan looked amazing. And in the end, it was Daniel Bryan doing the yes kicks onto Sami Zayn. And then, after the yes kicks, he set up Zayn for that running knee and then hit the yes lock, and Zayn tapped out after 16 minutes. Well done. Great fun. Amazing match. A lot of people thought either Shane or Bryan were going to turn. My prediction, I stayed away from that. I thought that Shane and Daniel were going to win. KO and Sammy are going to go to Raw probably tonight. Stephanie may be hiring them, bringing them in, or maybe even Angle brings them in. You never know. But I think they're going to be on Raw tonight. Or maybe they keep them out for a little while and bring them back after a couple weeks. Who knows? The attendance for the Superdome, 78,133. I think that's inflated because they had about 75,000 for WrestleMania 30, and I don't know of any expansions of the Superdome. We'll just leave it at that. Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax went about 8 minutes. Not a squash match, which was fine. I thought it was going to be a squash match, but it wasn't. I think Bliss worked really well with Jax, doing some offense, raking the eyes to get the advantage, and then working on the leg. I think the much smaller Bliss did a good job with that offense on Jax. But in the end, Jax hit a brutal Alabama slam, and then a sweet Samoan drop from the middle rope to get the 1-2-3. So congratulations to Nia Jax, your new Raw Women's Champion. Great story they told with coming out front with the bullying and such, and they did the right thing with Jax winning to show the overcoming of the bullying. They plug the next pay-per-view, May 6th, just a little under a month away, Backlash, which will be the first of the co-branded pay-per-views, which is going to be every pay-per-view going forward. Shinsuke Nakamura comes out with Nita Strauss, the guitarist from Alice Cooper we mentioned earlier. She was in the front row at TakeOver, playing electric guitar for Shinsuke's theme song, it was amazing. Then we had about a dozen violinists and also several drummers all together playing Nakamura's theme song. I thought that was cool. Of course, Edna in the crowd singing along with it. That was really cool. That was a sweet fucking entrance. And Strauss with the guitar made it sound just fucking awesome, man. That was great. AJ does his usual entrance. Nothing special there. It'd been cool if they'd done something special, but they didn't. And this match was good, but it did not kick into that gear in the end. There weren't a lot of near falls in the end. We were expecting something on the level of Gargano and Ciampa at WrestleMania. They got time. They got 21 minutes. But it was just missing something. It was nowhere near the Wrestle Kingdom 10 match. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I don't know if it was the lack of a hot finish. It was a damn good match. Don't get me wrong. But we were expecting 6 stars here, WrestleMania. They were given 20 minutes. But maybe they needed 30. I don't know. Maybe we'll see what Matt has to say about it. But it just did not have what it should have. And so I'm putting it fourth. I'm putting it below the Intercontinental SmackDown Women Angle Rousey. I put this match fourth, which is weird because this was number one, guaranteed, most exciting, looking forward to match of the night, and it just didn't hit that gear. It was damn good, but it didn't hit the gear that it should have, and I don't know why. But maybe we'll talk about that in a second. But first, Nakamura with the reverse exploder goes for the Kinshasa. Styles avoids the Kinshasa and goes into the right perfect formation for the Styles Clash and hits it to win after 21 minutes. So still your WWE champion AJ Styles. After the match is over, Nakamura grabs the WWE Championship from the referee, gets down on one knee in front of Styles out of respect, and presents the title to Styles. And we're like, what a classy moment. But then, oh fuck, Nakamura low blows AJ Styles, starts beating the shit out of him, and hits a Kinshasa on the floor. Whoa! That was a great fucking heel turn. So, we didn't get this epic 20-minute or 30-minute 6-star match out of these guys at WrestleMania. Why? Because I think this is the main event of SummerSlam. I think this feud is going to continue on into August. Nakamura is a heel. Oh, this is going to be fun with him and AJ. Oh, that low blow excited me big time. The match didn't excite me as much, but that low blow excited me for what the future holds between these guys. I fully expect this is going to be a SummerSlam match with Nakamura being heel. They talk about the Greatest Royal Rumble on April 27th. I think the winner of that Greatest Royal Rumble is your Universal Champion. We'll put that out there. Okay, Braun Strowman. What's happening? Who's his partner? Samoa Joe? Hulk Hogan? Rey Mysterio? Anybody? A 10-year-old kid named Nicholas. What? Turns out Nicholas is the son of referee John Cone. For those that were wondering. This was weird. This is something you do on a Raw, not a WrestleMania. But then at the same time, I get what they did. This is where most eyes are on the WWE. And I've seen it, pictures and firsthand at live events and stuff. Braun is great with the kids. He takes time to sign and take pictures with the kids. He's just a great human being. If you follow him on Instagram or Twitter or anything, he's a great human being. The WWE knows that. And the WWE knows he's like their biggest star right now. He's the guy that gets the biggest pops because he's been organically grown into the top guy. So this was with most eyes on the product. This was them presenting Braun as like a Hulk Hogan, an Andre the Giant, more modern day comparison, maybe a John Cena, of just humanizing him. Bringing this 10-year-old kid as his tag partner, standing in the ring, looking all nervous. He actually got the tag in because Strowman was getting beat down by both guys. He got the tag in. Nicholas stands in the ring staring at Cesaro. Nope. Tag Strowman back in. The match only went about 5 minutes, so Strowman and Nicholas are your tag team champions. We'll see how this plays out on Raw. Maybe this is where they finally put Samoa Joe in. I don't know. But it was weird to do this at WrestleMania, but at the same time, I understand why they did this. And God, what a moment for Nicholas. That's the best seat in the house. They were watching a match. All right, next up is Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. This went 17 minutes. I didn't even realize it went this long. The crowd shit on it. I think before it even began, because I think they knew Lesnar's out the door. They don't like Reigns. Even as hard as they tried to make Reigns, I mean, he's been cheered a lot more lately, but this WrestleMania crowd didn't cheer him. It was 90% boos. Now about 90. There's a lot of people that like Reigns, so. But you hear more boos and cheers when Reigns came out. I thought kicking out of all those F5s was a little ridiculous. I mean, six F5s? He almost did as many F5s as he did suplexes. Going into the match, they were playing how the F5 was like the Achilles heel of Reigns. Reigns got his revenge on the go-home show of Raw, and he got stopped cold with one F5. But yet he's kicking out of 5 of them. That was a little weird. Lesnar yelling out motherfucker after a near fall was kind of funny. Crowd loved it. But the censors got to it, though, before. But if you could lead rips, yeah. If you could lead rips, read lips. Sorry, I've been talking for about an hour and a half by myself, so you got to bear with me at the tail end of this podcast, brother. I will say this, though. The match itself was just okay, but the effort was good. I think the effort of the guys was good. It wasn't really that intriguing of a match. I mean, the crowd hated it. I mean, the crowd was chanting, "This is awful and boring." Not good for your main event of WrestleMania, quote unquote. Plus, I mean, shit, we're at hour 7 here, man. Crowd is fucking tired. I'm fucking tired. So, it was weird. It was a weird final match, because A, it shouldn't have been the final match. Imagine closing WrestleMania with Nakamura low-blowing Styles and Ken Sasha in him. You're like leaving WrestleMania like, what did we just see? Because nobody saw Nakamura winning. Vince put this on last because nobody saw Brock Lesnar winning when he finally did after the last F5. And Roman Reigns was in a crimson mask. I mean, he was bleeding like a motherfucking stuck pig. To quote a JR, well, JR probably didn't say motherfucking, but yeah. Reigns was bloody. And Lesnar gets a win after 17 minutes. And like I said, they worked their asses off, but it was just crowd shit on it. It wasn't as intriguing. I mean, it was F5 City. I mean, the F5 was kicked out of 5 times. And of course, Brock winning shocks all of us, which makes us think that Brock's vacating it tonight. Which makes me think that I'll give a shout out to my buddy Mark Cho, who gave me the idea that the greatest Royal Rumble is going to be for the Universal Championship. Because unless if Brock re-signed, it's even more of a bummer because the Universal title is still on a part-timer. I fully expect him to vacate it and say he's stepping away tonight on Raw. So there you go. That was WrestleMania. A good show that probably could have stopped at AJ Nakamura. So those last 2 were weird. The start of the show was hot. Like I said, my top 3 matches, I'll go Angle and Rousey against Trips and Steph is my number 1 match of WrestleMania. I'll go the Triple Threat to kick off WrestleMania as my number 2 match, and I'll go Charlotte Asuka as my number 3 match of the evening. So where do we go from here? I think Seth Rollins and Finn Balor are going to feud now for the Intercontinental title. Kind of a same kind of feud as they did for the Universal title. I'm not sure about Charlotte. I'm not sure who her next challenger is going to be. I wanted to think Carmella is going to go to Raw and cash in on Nia, and maybe tonight. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they go with this because I really don't know where they go with Charlotte from here. Not really looking forward to another Randy Orton Jinder Mahal feud. So the U.S. title is kind of on a downswing there. We'll see if Kurt Angle gets fired. I don't know if that's going to happen or what. Steph may not be on Raw. She might be selling that arm. Rousey is a bona fide superstar. Can't wait to see her first feud with one of the women of Monday Night Raw. Maybe have her feud with Absolution, because right now Absolution's kind of died down a little bit. The Paige injury kind of hurt that, so maybe she feuds with Absolution and gets. I think her and Sonya Deville would put on a hell of a match. So maybe you put that as your first feud with Ronda Rousey. Like I said on SmackDown tag titles, I would love to see AOP and the Bludgeon Brothers face off on Tuesday. We'll see if that happens. Daniel Bryan probably won't be the GM any longer. That'll be interesting. That might be a good spot to put Hulk Hogan in. Who knows? We'll see what happens there. Shane will go on as the commish. Kevin and Sammy aren't going to be there. I expect them to be on Raw tonight. But I'm excited, even more excited, to see what they do with Daniel Bryan going forward. Maybe he relaxes and still is the GM for a while and relaxes from in-ring competition until someone stands up to him again. Who knows? That's another thing where it's hard to tell what's going to happen, and that's exciting. Nia, I expect maybe Bliss or James to maybe get a shot. Bliss get a reshot. Maybe James gets a shot at her. I don't know. I think Carmella's going to cash in on her eventually. It could even happen tonight. I don't know. AJ and Nakamura, again, I think this is going all the way to SummerSlam. Amazing heel turn, even though the match, maybe that's why the match wasn't amazing, because the finale of this feud is where we're going to get the match that we wanted. The Strowman and Nicholas thing, hey, congrats to Nicholas being the youngest champion in WWE history at 10 years old. Weird. And like I said, with Brock Lesnar, I think he's going to vacate the title tonight on Raw. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with Reigns going from here. He put on a hell of a fight, kicked out of a lot of F5s. So normally when I say where do we go from here, I'm pretty confident on where I go from here. But I'm not right now, which is good. It's exciting because these are going to be two of the most exciting Raw, and this is going to be the most exciting Raw and SmackDown here this week, tonight and tomorrow. So, it's going to be interesting. And that's going to do it for Lost in the Midcard. I talked for an hour and a half by myself because there was a lot to talk about, a lot of fun stuff this weekend. And again, Takeover, emotionally dominated. Ciampa Gargano in the ladder match 1 and 2 for the best matches of the weekend. Phenomenal work there. Thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. What you need to do is search for Lost in the Midcard, hit the subscribe button. That way you know every time a new episode comes your way every Thursday. Also every Monday after a WWE pay-per-view. You can subscribe to us also on the YouTube. The links to our subscriptions are on our pinned post at facebook.com/lostinthemidcard and on our pinned tweet at LITMC Podcast on the Twitter. Also at LITMC Podcast on the Twitter, we share a lot of the great wrestling tweets from throughout the wrestling world. You can find me on the Twitter. Jeremy Bennett is at JB Huskers. My usual co-host, Matt Black, hopefully he gets well soon and is back with us this week later. You can follow him on the Twitter at RawFShowtime. And in closing, I just want to say, though it ended in a down note, WrestleMania overall was great. It was one of the better ones. But again, TakeOver took over. And you just could not replicate the emotion that Gargano and Ciampa gave us. And that match is going to live forever in time as one of the best ever. For that said, I'm Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning in to Lost in the Midcard. We'll be back at you on Thursday.